got the Supra bumper in here, and we discovered some issues. If you guys want to know about the issues that we discovered that are going to make this bumper a challenge, stay tuned to the vlog, guys. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the vlog. Today we're starting the vlog super late. I think it's like 6 p.m. I'll show you what Johnny and I have done today so far. It's been bumper day for us, so you look around us, it's like a little bumper minefield over here. We've wrapped 2 bumpers so far, but the reason why we're starting the vlog right now is because we're gonna catch you guys up to speed with Supra. Couple issues discovered on the bumper. When this car initially came to the shop, it was wrapped. And if you guys don't know about what car I'm talking about and you haven't been tuning into the vlogs, over the last week we've been doing a Supra. We've showed you guys everything. So from quarter panels to what else? I mean, we showed you guys everything. So if you guys want to know anything about how to wrap a Supra, or go check out the last couple vlogs. They'll really explain, I think, a little bit thoroughly than we've done in the past. So I'm enjoying the new format. If you guys are enjoying them too, let me know. But yes, the Supra. So Supra bumper. Here it is. It came in wrapped, we unwrapped it, and we discovered some issues. Not a big deal, like this is not the issue that I'm talking about. It looks like somebody prepped it at one point, but here's the issue. A very, very large crack, and someone actually did the repair already, so you can see these little dots. I'm not really a body man, so I don't know exactly what was done, but this is a very, very large crack all the way through, and you're definitely gonna see that. I've called the customer, I've talked it out with him, and the plan is he will be going with the upgraded front Ridox bumper at some point. So right now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna wrap the bumper as is. We're not gonna do any type of repair on it because he's getting a new bumper shortly, but we don't want to disappoint. We want to give him a car that's complete. We want to give him a car that's wrapped, and the 2 months that he's gonna have this bumper on, at least it'll be wrapped. And I've talked about this in the past where I think when I first started wrapping cars early on, my goal was always to try to wrap things seamlessly and stretch material into place. And it's because I was naive. I didn't know exactly how the material would react. So at that time, I was just using a lot of heat and a lot of stretching to lay things into, or lay the material into bumpers like that. And ultimately what would happen is they would fail. So with this and what I said with the inlays and the seams that are gonna be there, they're 100% necessary. So there's really no way to get around this. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give you guys an example of what I would probably do 10 years ago, Daniel. Say I was wrapping this whole bumper, and instead of doing inlays, I was gonna try to feed it all into place. This is what it would look like. So let's say the whole panel's wrapped, and now you got this opening that you wanna try to wrap. So what I see a lot of amateur installers making a mistake on is they'll heat up the panel, because you can do that, you can heat the material, and they'll try to push this material into place and do all of this in one piece. If you were to try to do this, the material's gonna shrink back as soon as it gets any heat on it, or you put it outside in the sun, and this is what the shrink would look like. Let's just cut it. As soon as you put it out in the sun, the material starts to move back to place. And that's why you see bumpers fail, that's why you see edges lift, is because it was overstretched into place, let alone the discoloration that's right here. So the material is basically thinned out, there's no adhesive left, and the color is gone. So if I were to continue trying to push that down, for one, it's gonna rip. It's not gonna work, is what I'm trying to show you guys. Is like, this is not the way to do it, and I've seen people still attempt to do this with certain bumpers, and yes, I get it. You wanna try to avoid seams when necessary, or when you can, but when they're necessary, you have to do it. So I'm gonna show you a bumper right now that Johnny and I did today that actually has probably the most seams possible. There was so many pieces of material used to get this bumper done. There's a bunch of seams on it, and they were 100% necessary. I don't think there's any way to wrap this bumper seamlessly, and if there is, and there's another wrapper out there that think you can, let me know, because I wanna see it. But what we did here, in my opinion, is a flawless, 100% a wrap that I can feel confident in. It can go out, it's not gonna pull up, it's not gonna move. You're not gonna spot the seams in most cases. So here's the bumper. It's wrapped in multiple pieces. This is its own piece right here. This is its own piece. In there is an inlay. That part's its own piece. So we'll get real close, and you'll be able to see a nice clean seam line right there, but it almost looks like a body line, because that's the whole goal, is when you're gonna do these things, get them looking as nice as possible. So you can get down there. That's all seamed together. You see all the aggressive bends in there. Very, very tough bumper. Johnny and I killed it, in my opinion, so I want a little round of applause for us. Yay! We killed this bumper. We've done them so many times, so we're very familiar with it. Like I said, it's on the complex side. It's very, very hard to do. If you want to watch how we wrap that bumper, go up to the card right up above. I'll have the video link right up there. for another car that we wrapped in that color. All right, so back over here to the Supra. I was showing you guys what the wrong approach would be. So let's get into the right approach. There will be an inlay right here. The goal is to hide the seam as good as possible. Another big factor is this is a color shifting film. It is directional, so your inlays and overlays must stay within direction. So as you're doing these inlays, you have to be strategic. You have to know exactly which way the material is gonna flow because you wanna keep that consistent all the way through. One thing I didn't really focus on was talking about the crack here and what it's gonna look like. When we lay material over this crack, it's definitely gonna be bumpy. You're definitely gonna see it. Like I said, it's not going to the body shop right now because a new bumper's coming, so we're just gonna deal with this crack that's here. It doesn't feel good, so it's gonna look pretty rough. So don't judge us on that. This is more of the bumper surface. If you look all the way to the back side of the bumper, it was a big gash that somebody repaired at some point. To recap what we're gonna do, I'll do an inlay right here first. That'll wrap right around, right to about here. And then I'm gonna do one starting from this top side, and I'll go around right here all the way up. So there'll be a total of 1, 2, 3 inlays, and then we'll use a big piece to wrap the whole front of the bumper. And the goal is to make those look as seamless as possible. The biggest tool that we're gonna use out of this whole project is this. We'll be utilizing knifeless tape. So that's what I'll use to make all of my inlays happen and make them look clean. Let's just get into it. So I want to give you guys a better look at what I did here is I used the knifeless tape to basically design out the inlay that's going to go right here. And if you see, it's going to come out pretty exaggerated. I'm going to bring one piece of material all the way around, all the way in there. It's pretty deep back, and then right over to here. So there'll be a nice little fine point right here. When I wrap the entire bumper, the inlay will be under it already done. So what's going to happen is I'm going to cut an incision basically right here, and I'm gonna flap that piece of material back over so the seam will be right here. What that'll look like is, let's go back over to this bumper. It was done exactly the same way. I did the same thing here to where I laid knifeless tape there, and then I folded this piece right back over there. That's why you got that nice little flap, but the seam is really, really clean. It's just done right. It almost looks like it's the body line. All right, so back over here, like I said, I'm gonna cut my piece of material. I'll lay it in, and then I'll use the knifeless tape to cut the material into that design. So if you guys are new to knifeless tape and you haven't seen any demos on our videos yet, this will be a first for you guys, but it really kind of, I hope it gives you a better understanding of what happens and how we make cuts without using blades on paint. And in this case, we could actually cut on this bumper because it's unpainted, it's an unfinished bumper. But we're not gonna do that. We're gonna use the knifeless tape just to show you guys exactly what we would do on say a BMW over there that has perfect paint on it. We're not gonna run any blade on it. Like I said, this bumper, we could essentially cut on it. I don't want to do that. Even I feel that you get better lines anyway using the knifeless tape. So let's lay these things. All right, let me give you guys a little progress update. This inlay is pretty tough, and I actually decided to go a different route as I'm installing it. And as you're installing vinyl, you're actually gonna experience the same thing where you think one thing's gonna work and then you decide you're gonna do something else. So I'll show you the one change in the idea that I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna actually lay this piece right here all the way up to about right here in its own piece. And then this part of the inlay I'm gonna do on its own. And the reason why I chose to do that is I can actually hide a seam very well right up in here. You gotta remember, when you're looking at this car, you're looking down. So this little hole down here, you're definitely not gonna see up here where I'm gonna hide this inlay. And you see that there's a big piece that's gonna go here. So there will be a seam right there. All right guys, so here's the point where we're gonna remove the knifeless tape. One thing you gotta remember when you lay these tape is they're gonna or lay the tape is they're gonna overlap. So I got two overlapping points here. What you need to do is make sure you know which one's which, because if you try to pull one that's hidden under the tape, it's actually gonna stop and mess up. So I don't remember what I did, but I think that this is the last one that I put on. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this and hope that good. So I spent about the last 20 minutes getting that inlay set up. I did do it in two pieces. Like I said, there was a little bit of a revision in the idea. So I'll show you guys real quick what it looks like. This is the inlay. Came out to about here. This is all knifeless tape cut. This is all one piece, and it stops right here. And there's a seam right up at that corner, which is gonna be very, very hard to see. First, because it's dark right there, and then just because it's pretty much invisible. And then here's your other piece, which spans out that way. So now what's gonna happen is when I wrap the entire bumper, we're gonna cap off the front right here, wrap all the way over, and then we'll make a slit right here, and another slit here, and then we'll feed this material back over here. As long as everything goes well, this will look really good. And the color, the idea with this color itself is it is a color shift. I've talked about directionality throughout this whole series of videos. So one thing that I did here is making sure that the inlay was 100% within direction of what this panel is gonna be. So when they line up, when they match up, they're gonna look 100% flawless. So I need to do this to the other side. I am gonna also have to do another inlay right over here. So you'll probably get a time lapse for most of this. I'm gonna try to get it done as quick as possible because if you guys see here, it's getting late. Jack's over here doing his thing. Johnny's over here doing his thing, but it's getting dark. So we got another probably hour. I probably have another hour of energy in me, so I want to get this thing done. We're gonna be delivering this car tomorrow. So after this video, you're gonna get one more video. That'll be delivery. If you guys have any questions for the owner, which I know one of the biggest questions that I've seen in the comments is how much did he pay for the car? Because he did claim that he believes that he got the cheapest twin turbo target top Supra in the country. So I know there's another YouTuber that says he has a cheap one. So this one, I want to find out exactly how much it costs so you guys will know as well. So if you do have comments or questions for the owner of the Supra, he'll be here tomorrow to pick up the car. So comment tonight, let me know, and then we'll try to get him in the next video. But let's keep wrapping this thing. Damn.
What?
Battery died. Card was full. Both. These things are so difficult, guys. We're wrapping cars, and I'm just focusing on wrapping that bumper. And at some point, battery died or the card was full, whatever. So I don't know how much you guys seen. I said I was gonna time lapse the bumper, but let me catch you guys up to speed. Obviously, you guys seen the inlay get done there. I've been working on this one here. I did that all there, all the way up into that corner. I used knifeless tape all the way through. And here's the point where you're gonna start seeing that damage show through. So you see the damage there? The crack went all the way through, and then it goes right in here. And you can see that the material gets pretty wavy. Doesn't look pretty, but it definitely looks better than not wrapped. I will say that. So this is not gonna look pretty, guys. Trust me, it's not gonna look pretty, but it is only temporary. To continue, what I have to do from here is I gotta repeat what I did over there, right over here, and then we'll be able to cap this bumper, and that'll be a wrap. We literally have only this left to wrap on the Supra. We'll be putting it on, and let me just keep wrapping. You guys see that it's dark outside already. I've spent about the last hour doing the inlays on the Supra bumper. So here's what it looks like. One, two, three. I told you guys we had 3 pieces that we had to get done. They're on, ready to go. Now we're gonna move the bumper over to the stand. Johnny's finishing up a lip, so once that's done, we'll move the bumper over and then we'll cap the whole bumper off with the big final piece, and then we'll match up all of our inlays. I'll show you guys the process. If you guys are still sticking with me, I appreciate it. We're getting tired here, so after this bumper's done, we're done with the car. Tomorrow we'll come back, we'll reassemble the car and deliver it. So a lot of cool stuff happening in the next 24 hours. The biggest thing for us is we're gonna get space in the shop. The Supra's gonna leave and we're gonna bring in a new project. And the next project that we're gonna bring in is gonna be just like the Supra. It's a cool car that we're gonna document every single part of the process. And I'm excited to bring that one to you guys. So if you're enjoying the series style videos, we have more coming. And let's finish up the bumper. There's not much to go. Now that this is the big piece, that's probably the fastest part to lay. So as long as our inlays are laid right, we're good. So you guys watched Johnny and I lay that side. I'll explain a little bit further exactly what was done, and I'll take you over the side that's not done so we can talk about it. You see here, it's all laid in all the way through. I still do have to go and wrap this little clip thing here. There's a bezel that covers all this up, so we're all good, but I do want to have full coverage anyway. So here is where the seam is. So I was talking about it earlier. Doing them nice and clean is super important. There's our other seam, and that's what it looks like. But you make your way over and across, you see that this one still has all the material there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the incision right here all the way around, and then we'll be able to flap that piece back in there. So let's get it done. Bumper's done. I'll show you guys what it looks like. I'll show you also what the cancer on it looks like. If you guys remember at the beginning of the vlog, I was talking about the damage that we found on it. So here's what it looks like. It's pretty terrible. I'm not gonna say it's pretty at all, but this is where the crack was at. If you guys remember, that went from here all the way through. Pretty damn bad, but that is what it is. Here's our inlays. We talked about that pretty heavily, so I want you guys to see what that looks like. Done properly, you can't spot the seams. I'm really happy with this turned out. Another battle that we had was making sure that all of the inlays were in the proper orientation and direction, so the color shift it flowed properly, and it did. So everything looks real good. If you see when the bumper shifts, nothing's shifting out of direction, nothing looks weird. If it was out of direction, you guys would see. I'm super tired, and that's just the way it is. I wish I could be super energetic for you guys right now, but we've literally been in the shop nonstop, didn't leave for lunch, had lunch right there next to a bumper, been wrapping bumpers all day, been dealing with customers all day, been dealing with things going on in the shop, but that's the nature of this business, and that's what I love the most. So super excited that I get to do this every single day. Very, very excited that I get to make videos and not just experience what I'm experiencing in the shop alone. I get to make a video and put it out, and then thousands of people get to watch it. I think that's awesome. So I'm gonna pull in the Supra, and we're gonna call it a day. We got one more vlog on the Supra, guys. So if you guys have any questions, if you wanna know anything about that car, comment below. We'll do our best to answer in the last and final vlog on the Supra. Let's pull in these cars, let's go home.